All right, Shalom. We the real Hebrew Israelites coming to you week in and week out to prophesy the downfall of this wicked society, to tell you that you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the true biblical Israelites of the Bible. And I want to start off by giving our praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Wachakodash. I want to get double honors to our apostles and elders, great millstone who rule well, and peace, love, and salutations to the whole elect of Israel. And this the brother Zakaria from the GMS Des Moines branch, coming to give another lesson on like in the picture. It says master your mind and your body will follow. Master your mind and your body will follow. So Lord Wood, this lesson is edifying. I'm gonna hop right into it. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, and I'll start at verse 12. It says, wisdom is glorious and never fadeth away. Yea, she is easily seen of them that love her, and found of such as seek her. So wisdom is glorious, man. It never fadeth away. If wisdom maketh us nearer unto the Most High. So if you diligently seeking after wisdom, a wisdom gonna meet you. It says, verse 13, she prevented them that desire her, and making herself first known unto them. Whoso seeketh her early shall have no great travail, for he shall find her sitting at his doors. Man, she gonna be at the door waiting on you. It says, to think therefore upon her is perfection of wisdom, and whoso watcheth for her shall quickly be without care. For she goeth about seeking such as are worthy of her, showeth herself favorably unto them in the ways, and meeteth them in every thought. And that's what I wanted to, man. That's what I wanted to get, man. Because we want wisdom to meet us in every thought. The ways of Yahweh Shema Shai is perfection. Wisdom is perfection, which is the laws, statutes, commandments of the Heavenly Father. So we want that wisdom, those precepts, the understanding of the Heavenly Father, His word, to meet us in every thought, right? And it says, for the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline, and the care of discipline is love. The desire of discipline, because that wisdom teaches you how to orchestrate that discipline, because our minds, it wonder and does what it wants, but we have to keep it under control with this wisdom. I'm gonna continue to read. It says, and love is the keeping of her laws. See, the laws, such commandments of the Heavenly Father, and the giving heed unto her laws is the assurance of incorruption. And incorruption maketh us near unto the Most High. So this wisdom maketh us near unto the Heavenly Father. That's having that discipline, not letting our emotions and our flesh, control us. So we have to keep that under subjection. It says, therefore the desire of wisdom bring it to a kingdom. So that's what's going to bring us to a kingdom. This wisdom, this incorruption by the laws, having that wisdom meet us in every thought. So from there, I want to jump to Sirach chapter 23 and verse 2. It says, who will set scourges over my thoughts, and the discipline of wisdom over my heart, which is your mind. That discipline of wisdom, setting them boundaries, having that martial law on your mind, setting that martial law on your mind. Like, no, I'm not doing that, because you have all types of thoughts in your head, man, wicked thoughts, but you have to check that shit. You have to check that, excuse my language, but you have to check those things, put those things in order, have a martial law on your mind. Like, no, I'm not, I can't do that. No, that wasn't right. Why am I thinking that? No, the Lord will fuck me up for that. The Lord will jack me up for that. Like, no, applying that wisdom, having that wisdom meet you in every thought, setting those scourges, setting those boundaries. It says that they spare me not for my ignorance, and it pass not by my sins. Like, don't let me go off, having that wisdom meet you in every thought so that you won't go off, even though we're going to go off, but applying this wisdom, and fighting, man. This is the fight that man shall fight on the earth, So we have to control our mind. We have to control our spirits because we in this flesh. It say the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, man. The flesh want to go off. So we have to control that. Once we control our mind, the body gonna follow. The body have to be a slave unto the spirit, man. Not the spirit a slave unto the flesh. The flesh have to be a slave unto the spirit. So, because once you control your mind, your flesh gonna follow. But if you letting your mind wander everywhere, that's what your flesh gonna do. So I want to grab Proverbs. This is Proverbs chapter 4 and verse. Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 23. It says, "Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life." So keep thy mind. Heart is your mind. So keep thy mind with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. And I want to grab these other translations for this precept. For Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 23, the NIV, it say, above all else, guard your heart, right? Guard your mind, for everything you do flows from it. So we have to guard our mind. We have to protect our mind, because everything we do, it flows from it. It says, the CSB, it say, guard your heart, which is guard your mind above all else, for it is the source of life. NLT, guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. So that's what it does, man. The things that come out of your mind, it determines the course of your life, the things you do in your life. Let me see. Yeah, that was it on that definition. But I want to get that diligence. I want to look that up in the Blue Letter, in this precept. It says the definition for diligence is mashamar, which is H4929. It's a place of confinement, prison, guard, jail, guard post, watch, observance, jail, prison, guard house, guard post, act of guarding, observance. So we gotta, once again, martial law on your mind. We gotta set that jail, put that jail on our mind, guarding it, protecting it from those wicked things that out of the abundance of the mind come out. We have to rule over those things. So from that, I want to grab St. Matthew chapter 15. Yep. This is St. Matthew chapter 15, and I'll start at verse 18. It say, "But those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from the heart," right, the mind, "and they defile a man." So those things that proceed out of the mouth, out of your mouth, that comes forth from out of the mind, up out of the heart, which is lob, which is where your spirit dwells. It says, "and they defile a man." That's what defile a man. That's what the Lord was explaining to the scribes and Pharisees. It says, verse 19, "For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witnesses, blasphemies." These are things that proceed out of the mind, out of the heart. So this is why we should set scourges over our mind. This is why we should have that discipline. This is why we should rule our mind. Master your mind and your body will follow. In verse 20, it said, "These are the things which defile a man, but to eat with washing hands defileth not a man." And that's what the Lord was explaining to the scribes and Pharisees. That don't defile you for having, for not washing your hands. But the things that come up out of the heart is what defiles a man. So that's why we should be set those scourges and that discipline upon our mind, and having that rule and that control over our spirits. So that those things that proceed out could be life and not death. So from there, I want to grab St. Matthew chapter 12 and verse 34. It says, "O generation of vipers, how can ye being evil, speak good things. For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. So though, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. Out of the mind, the mouth speaketh. That's what it speaks. Verse 35, it say, a good man out of the good treasure of the heart bringeth forth good things. So a good man that's setting those scourges, ruling his spirit, good things are going to come out. He's going to speak good things. He's going to speak life. And it says, and an evil man out of the evil treasure bringeth forth evil things. So that's what they're going to bring out, those evil things that they letting rule over them. Letting those things, those evil thoughts, those wicked deeds of their mind rule over their body. That's what the evil man is going to do. But the good man, he's going to set scourges over his mind. That good man is going to have martial law in his mind. That good man is going to set boundaries on his mind. He's going to check those thoughts and put those thoughts in order. He's going to rule his spirit. He's going to control his temple, his body. By you controlling your mind, your body is going to be in control. So from that, I want to grab Proverbs chapter 18. Proverbs chapter 18 and verse, verse 21. It said, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So death and life is in the power of the tongue. So whatever you love, whatever you feed, that's the fruit that you're going to bring forth. That's what's going to come forth. So and it comes from the mind. So death and life is in the mind. So if you control your mind, it's going to come out. It ain't what cometh in the man, it's what cometh out. So whatever you bring out, it is either going to be death or life. And that's in the power of the tongue. So we have to set those boundaries in our mind so that we can speak life, bring forth life, and not death. Not letting our flesh rule over our spirits, but let our spirit rule over our flesh. This is Proverbs. This is Proverbs chapter 16. Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 32. It says, he that is slow to anger is better than the mighty. So he that is slow to anger, slow to wrath, is better than a mighty man. And he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh the city. So if you rule your spirit, it's better than a mighty man taking the city, man. And I want to grab that in another translation. This is Proverbs chapter 16 verse 32 in the NIV. It say, better a patient person than a warrior, one with self-control than one who takes a city. And that's what you're going to have, self-control. We got to have self-control. We have to rule our spirits. We have to have that self-control. We have to have that discipline. CSB, it said, patience is better than power, and controlling one's emotions than capturing in a city. We have to control our emotions. No matter what situation we're being predicted, like at the job, your boss or people that you work with, they gonna try to make you, get carnal or act carnal. But the scripture say, be angry and sin not. That's having that self-control, applying the precepts in those situations, controlling your emotions, controlling your feelings, not being so high-headed, not being so hasty. The NLT, it say better to be patient than powerful, better to have self-control than to conquer a city. So it's better to have self-control than to conquer a city. Having ruling your spirit. Matter of fact, the ESV, which is the English Standard Version, it say whoever is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who rules his spirit than he who takes a city, man. So we have to control our spirits. We have to rule our mind and not let our flesh get the best of us. So from there, I want to grab Proverbs 14 and verse 29. It say, he that is slow to wrath is of great understanding, but he that is hasty of spirit exalteth folly. You know, it said, but he that is hasty, that's high-headed, emotional, quick, impatient, you know, emotional, impulsive, done without forethought, done without a foresight. You know, you just acting off emotion. You just hate, you just quick to just do something, letting your flesh get the best of you. No, that's evil. That can lead to life or death. And it says is hasty of spirit, exalted folly. That's what's gonna come forth. You know, unwise conduct, foolish behavior. These are the things that's gonna come forth when you're not controlling your spirit, when you're not ruling your mind. So from that, I want to grab James. I want to grab James. Salakia. This is James chapter 1 and verse 19. It say, wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. So it say, let every man be quick to hear, but slow to speak, having that self-control. Slow to wrath, having that self-control. And say, for the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of the Most High. The Lord don't deal with that. You got to control your spirit. Don't want to be hasty. It says, wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity, right there, unbehavior, of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted word, right? This wisdom, this knowledge, this understanding, having to meet you in every thought. Receive that which is life, which bringeth us unto the Most High, which is able to save your souls, man. This is able to save our soul. This knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is able to save our souls. So we have to apply those things in our everyday life by showing those by action, by our behavior, and not exalting folly, you know, and not being able to not rule our spirits. We have to control our spirits. We have to control our minds so that these things won't issue out. You know, that death, we have to bring forth life, speak life, think about life, which is through this word. So, I want to end it with this last scripture in Sirach. This is Sirach chapter 23 and verse... No, Sirach, not 23. I just read that one. Sirach chapter 27 and verse 5. It say, the furnace proveth the potter's vessel, so the trial of man is in his reasoning. So the furnace proveth the potter's vessel. You know, you being in that fire, it proves and sees what out of man, what sort of man you are. You know, and it's in the trial of your reasoning on how you reason and you being in that fire. You know, is you gonna come forth as gold, or is it gonna break you? It's either gonna make you or break you. And it's all in your trial of your reasoning on how you reason in those situations of you being in that fire. When you being in particular situations where your faith is being tested, when you're being tried. Are you going to apply the precepts? Or are you going to let your flesh take the best of you in those situations? And we have to let that wisdom meet us in every thought. Set those scourges on our mind, you know, and not fall into the flesh. It says, the fruit declared if the tree have been dressed. So is the utterance, right, the speech of a conceit, which is a thought, in the heart of man, in the mind of men. So your speech is your speech shows you what type of man you are on what you bring out. You know, it's either going to be good things or evil things. You know, so we have to set those boundaries, you know, on our thoughts so that our body can follow and be in control. You know, so master your mind and your body will follow. You know, so Lord will, this lesson is edifying. I want to give our praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. I want to get double honors to our apostles and elders, great millstone who rule well, and peace, love, and salutations to the whole elect of Israel. Shalom and Abba Abba.